that I'm going to show you is CRM. Since we received many requests regarding CRM functionality, and some companies even thought that Proton is a kind of CRM system, so we decided to add some CRM functionalities to Protomos to make it usable for this purpose. At least some basic features related to customer relationship management. So what has been changed? Now you can adjust in client's menu, you can adjust client statuses. You can create your own statuses, name them as you wish. And then in this way you can create your sales funnel. So these are the names of the statuses. Let me rename. Okay. So if your sales managers are working in some standard client statuses, you can just adjust the settings and then use it. In each client profile, now you may see CRM tab. Here you can do some things you could not do before. The first one is that you can define the customer status. In this case, it is active, but I can change it to contacted or whatever. And then I may define if I can, if this client is assignable to project and calls. If it is, in other words, if it is active client or just a potential one. Then we have to-dos. We have connected to-dos with the clients, so you can create any to-dos related to the clients, like contact decision maker, or congratulate on birthday or whatever. You may set the deadlines for yourself. And this way you can track any sales related, you can put any sales related task to yourself. And also you can put some communication notes, the history that you, for example, that you contacted the client today, or that you had a conversation with them, or that you had some preliminary agreement. So you can put the whole history of communication here. And also you can put manual note, and also the system registers any automatic activities like changing the client status. Basically, that's all CRM functions for the time being. But I think we think it's just the start. We're going to expand it further. So you're welcome to start testing it, using it, and then come up to us with your suggestions. And in the next release, we are going to expand this functionality. So next major update is checklists. Many of you asked to add this feature, so we have done it. What's the checklist? Checklist is a set of checkpoints that your vendor should go through, that they should make sure they have done it. For example, I'm now creating a checklist like I have checked spelling, I have checked grammar, I followed the instructions. So you may put down whatever checkpoints, checklist items, and then when you assign jobs, you can decide to attach the checklist to the job. In case, okay, let me try to find a job, put it in a draft, and update. So here, there is a checklist option. So when I'm creating a job for my vendor, I can add a checklist. If I add a checklist to the job, then your vendor will have to go through that checklist. It could be, and they cannot complete the job before they go through the checklist. So they will have to put checkboxes in front of each item. That, for example, in this case, that I'm showing that they have checked the spelling, that they have checked the grammar, and that they have followed the instructions. This way you can control at least some of your vendors in case if they tend to skip some quality control points, and you can make them check it again. And in case if they mark that they have checked everything, but you find for example, spelling mistake, then you may ask them, oh, come on, you have said that you have checked the spelling, and I have found lots of spelling mistakes. What's that? Why it happened? So you can use it as an additional method of quality control. The next thing is that on job pages, let me find some job. Okay, this is the job. So in case if previously when you were pushing a sign button for the vendor, you opened just a job editing page. Now, if the job is unassigned, then you press assign button. You have the whole filter of possible vendors, and you can adjust this filter to select the one that you need. Also on the file, another update is that with the files, for each file you can define the category. If it is a translatable, reference, TM, or glossary, and then you may clarify what this file is for. Also, we have updates on invoices. For example, on vendor invoices, if your vendor uses some kind of own system for creating invoices for you, and they have to send you the invoice along with the invoice which was generated in Protomos, then they can upload additional files. So in this case, if your vendor just creates invoices for you, and they can also add additional invoice if they have some other system that they are using, and if they need to send you the invoice generated in their systems. Also, in case of client invoices, for each client invoice, you can add additional files too. It might be necessary in case if, for example, your client has another portal, and you invoice them by generating the invoice in their portal, and then you can upload this client invoice, the invoice which was generated on client portal to your Protomos account. It's very useful to remember to see what kind of document was really received by your customer, if it differs from the one that is generated by Protomos. So these are the main improvements. Of course, these are not all. We have many other things, but I will mention them just quickly. We have updated API. We have added more features that many of you requested. So now you may use even more, and we encourage you to use API, because through API you can extend the functionality of Protomos by adding some features or integrations that you might need with other tools. Also, now you can add payables to vacant job if the job has not yet been, even if the job has not yet been assigned. So if you have not, okay, let me show you. Yeah, that is the job. Even if the job has not been assigned, if there is no even if there is no vendor, you still can add payables now. So in this case, you can just plan your expenses without even before selecting the vendor. On client side, we have remember the dashboards that we have for you. Now your clients and your vendors have similar dashboards about their jobs and projects. Also, we have improved the speed of the system, the projects list, and the pages on the individual project now load much faster. It takes less time to wait. We have improved it like 4 times or something. I hope you like it. I hope you noticed that the speed of the system has increased. We will still need to rework invoices page to make it load faster, and we will do it in the future release. But the project and most of the pages now load faster than before. Well, also a number of fixes and minor improvements that I cannot even remember now, but we have made them all. So that's it. I hope you may use this functionality, and I hope you like it. And if you feel that something needs to be improved further, just please let us know. I'm done with my part, and let's get to the questions. Do you have any?
Yes, I have one. I was wondering, for the categories that you can now enter the categories for the files that you upload. Can you also add your own categories like you can do for the services that with the system values, or is it just the 4 categories that are listed there?
Anatoly, please correct me if I'm wrong, but at this point these are fixed categories. Right?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
But anyway, if you need more categories, just please send it to us, and we will then see if they can be added to the standard list, or if we should make this feature customizable. I suggest to start with the sending suggestions regarding other categories, and then if we see that it's all the same in all companies, then there is no point in customizing. We will just add some extras. But if we see that it's really different across many companies, then we will work on customization.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I believe Tamara has a question. Tamara, please whether unmute your microphone, or you may send it via.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. So my question is it possible to get some idea of what are the features that you're currently working on? So obviously we've got a bit of spoiler already, but if it's possible to know what else might be coming in the near future, that would be helpful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good question. So at this point, we are making an investigation on adding Teams feature. The point of Teams feature is that to limit the access of certain manager to the clients and vendors. For example, why this request is popular and what's the business case? The idea is that if you have, for example, if you hire a new person to your team and you do not want to give them access to the whole database yet, then the idea is that give access just to one client and, for example, five vendors, and that's it, and then expand this access to more clients when required. So we are currently investigating this, and I hope we will, when we finalize the concept, we will start working on it. So this is the hottest topic that we have now, based on the feedbacks that we have. Another, apart from the spoiler that I made, another thing is that we are going to expand CRM functionality, add things like sales managers for each client, and add dashboards showing the information about the client statuses, the sales, etc. So these are basically two main points we are working on. Of course, we may add some minor features, and we will add some other things possibly, because when we work on some major things, like I mentioned, sometimes if we have windows to work on something else, we may add some minor things. So, but these are the main features for the next release. Apart from this, we do not have we have not defined the final list for the release for what we work on after we make these 2 features. So this is defined by the request that we are receiving from you. So in case if you feel that you need some features, just tell us. I mean, we are making a sort of list of requests and rating, and we categorize them, we group them, and the most popular ones are getting implemented sooner than the less popular ones. So in case if you feel that you need some extra features in the system and you have not told us yet about them, please just write to us about it, because we need to know. The better we know about what extra features you need, the sooner the better we make them, the sooner we make them. Because if someone tells us that, okay, I need this feature, and you just dream about it without telling, then the chances that your feature gets implemented is lower. So that's why it's important that if you need some improvements, just write to us, please. Okay, any other questions? Maria, do we have anything in the chat?
No, the chat is empty and anyone raises their hand, so everyone keeps silent.
Okay, so if you have any questions later, just contact our support. You know this menu here.
Sorry, Vladimir, for interrupting you. We have a question from Suzanne. Suzanne, please unmute your microphone.
Okay.
Nicole, I sent you a message directly. I don't know if you saw it, but what my question is there a way to show that the on-time delivery has been met for the delivery of the project to the client? Many times we are faced with that we need to close the project to reflect that we've made the on-time delivery, and yet we need to leave a project open because we haven't received our vendor bills and haven't been able to get that portion closed or updated, TMs on time or whatever that may be that we've been working on.
Mm-hmm. So the question is about on-time delivery. I think this can be said by this can be solved by filters. So Susan, do I understand correctly that you need to find the projects which were delivered on time and which were not delivered on time?
Well, we'd like to be able to pull the report that shows our on-time delivery,
mm-hmm.
but we're not necessarily able to show that because we're not able to close projects, because then the vendors can't upload their invoices or do the invoicing. So it's causing the project to look as though it's late.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can if it's related to you can always update the project deadline to make it non-late. In case if you can always extend the deadline, like here.
Let me give you an example though. If I have an interpreter that's going to go on site, I want to make sure that they know that they need to be on site from X time to Y time, and this is what they need to do. And if it goes over, then I need to invoice it accordingly. So it's almost like you're saying that after they've done that interpreting, that I would then extend the deadline to be longer. And I don't know how long, because I don't know when they're going to send us the bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm waiting on usually, is that portion. Does that help, Vladimir?
Yeah. So Susan, the thing is that in Protomos, the finances and the production, they are not related. The invoice can be sent later if you decide for whatever reason in your company that the project is considered completed when all the financial documents are sent. Then you can just go to the project or to the jobs and manually change those deadlines. But the thing is that you can even close the project as completed on the production part, and then you may still easily find the project which has been completed but not yet invoiced.
So if we do the completion accepted, then they tend to not be able to upload or do the invoicing piece. Does that change maybe in this feature?
The thing is that they can. The thing is that even if they can invoice anytime. You see, there is dashboard. There are finances here. I'm going to show you the finances dashboard,
yes.
And it gives you the picture about the finances dashboard here. I see that one of the this is the feature which was added like 2 releases before. So here you can see the status of all finance related. So Susan, if you need non-invoiced payables, here they are. So these are the payables that has not been invoiced by the vendor. So 47 payables has not been invoiced by the vendor. So here's the example. I can see that in 34 projects, I just forgot to enter the receivables. In 22 projects, I have not entered the PO numbers from clients. Here, I have not invoiced something. What I have forgot to invoice, and this is what's related to the clients. And regarding the jobs, I see that in 233 jobs, I have not even entered the payment. So the vendors do not even have money entered in the system. And also I can see not invoiced payable. So I have 74 payables which have not been invoiced. So you can easily find this information. You do not need to keep the project open or the job uncompleted to find the financial data. These things are not related. The invoices can be sent before the project completed or after the project completed. It's not related directly. You may, of course, you may make your own rules and decide that, okay, that you complete the project when it's done, but this is the things that can be solved even without keeping the project open, because we have lots of
Great.
filters.
No, that's great, because they were having a difficulty. They wouldn't have that opportunity. Like the system wouldn't let them put their invoice if the project was closed. So it sounds like somewhere along the line that may have changed, and I am thrilled about that. So thank you.
Yeah, they can invoice anytime. Actually you define if they can invoice. Here in vendor settings, let me find it. Settings vendor portal. Here on vendor portal, you decide if you allow them to create invoices, or if you enable or disable. If it's enabled, then they create invoices for you. But for each vendor, you can define if each individual vendor can see own finances. So you can hide from some of them, and you can let them see. I recommend to display so that they can invoice to you, but you can make your own rules when you want.
Well, let me jump in because I remember the history of this question, Susan. The thing is that initially we don't have this new feature so that your vendors can add their invoices. They generate using, I don't know, some third-party software solution and so on and so forth. And when we didn't have this feature, there was a workaround so that your vendors can add their internal invoices together with the job output files. And yes, in this case, they use job output files to upload their internal invoices. Of course, once you mark a job as complete, once a manager marks a job as completed, vendors are not able to add anything to the job output files. Yes. So, but nowadays there is like they can add their internal invoices to the one they are generated in Protemus, which means you can mark the job as accepted on time. And now there is no any issue with that.
Okay, thank you, Anatoly, for explaining, because now I understand the context way better. Yeah, the difference is this is one of the features that I was showing when I was making a demo of these updates. That now, when the vendor creates an invoice in Protemus, they can add their own. They can add their own invoice file. So and now they really do not need to keep the job open to add some additional files. Now they can do it directly on the invoice page in Protemus.
Yeah, even though the job has already been accepted by the manager. So, because as Vladimir mentioned, production part and financial part are independent. So even though the job is marked as accepted by the managers, your vendors can upload their internal invoice to the one they generated in Protemus. So.
Okay. So do we have?
I have another question, Vladimir. Can you elaborate on the file types?
Now it's well, in any job, when you create a project, sometimes this is one of the requests that our users were sending. That sometimes when you upload a file, whatever file, let me upload something. So when you upload the file, it's not always clear what needs to be translated and what needs to be translated, and what is just a reference file. In this case, you can just put the category name for each file to explain it better to the translator that this is the translatable, and this is just the reference. You do not have to translate this. The idea is that category is dividing the files that you are sending to your vendor into types of files that they can clearly see that on which file they have to work, and on which file they just need for the reference. So that's the main point here. So here, for example, category, you can use files without category, but for example, if I know that this is translatable file, I put the translatable. For another file, I might use some different, some different category, like, okay, this is a reference file. And then your translator may understand, okay, I have to translate this and use the second one as reference. That's the whole point of it.
Yes.
I believe Arben has a question. Please, Arben, unmute the microphone.
Hi, everyone. I would like to ask if there is a way or an option to add this feature for the PMs to be able to rate the performance of their linguist, of their team, on monthly basis, and to have also a performance report automatically.
Okay, so at this point, there is only way to put it with tags, and now so the workaround actually is to use the text for this for the vendors, like okay, let me find some vendor for the vendor, and use some tags like quality level excellent, so you can use the text for this purpose. So this is the workaround. Of course, we will put this as an additional request for the feature. But at this point, if I had to divide them somehow, I would use text for this.
Now, basically, we would like to be able to rate them monthly, and this rating will somehow affect the bonus. We're trying to motivate the team. So the tags is just a generalized way of categorizing that, but something more dynamic, something that every PM will get a request to maybe automatically to be shown the number of linguists that have been worked, or vendors generally, and they can rate each of them on communications or promptness or general skills.
Okay, I think it could be done to take care of the urgent issue. Okay, so Arvin, getting back to your questions, we have this feature in to-do list. Since you asked about it, we will add your vote to it, and it will have impact on the priority of this. I do not promise in this case, as you know, in case of implementation, we do not promise anything apart from the next release, because each time the number of features is defined dynamically. But this is in the list of requests. You're not the first one to ask it, and I think this would be a really useful feature to have.
Thank you. Also, if I may ask also on two further features that I think you have mentioned in the previous meetings. Will there be an option to track the overheads of the company in Protemas? Are you working for that?
This is one of the features that I'm always getting back to and putting them as the next thing to do. But at this point of time, we are going to, as I mentioned, work on teams. I know that you also need this feature to divide the access of managers to different clients and vendors. So we are we have to make priorities. So we will first do this one. Regarding the overheads, this is, I think it should be done within a year, I would say, because this is one of the things that being asked by different companies. I would put this just my estimation as within a year it should be somehow taken care of.
Thank you. And the last feature is you mentioned a potential hub to automate cooperation between companies that use Protemos to automate our transactions. So you can update.
Yeah. This is what we also want to do because some of you might know about Belazy that they you can connect your Protemos with the vendor portals of your customers. If they're using XRF, Plunet, or MLV systems like Moravia, Landbridge, TransPerfect, etc., those big companies, you can connect to get your project automatically created in Protemos from your clients. But now we see that in case if your client is using Protemos too, we know several cases of cooperation between different companies that use Protemos. And it would be really a good thing that if someone creates a job for the vendor, if the vendor uses Protemos too, it should somehow be quickly converted into project in the vendor's portal. For example, if Arben, you are giving a job to me, then instead of receiving the job and creating a project, I would just click a button and create the project on my side, and when I finish it, then the projects get finished on your vendor on your portal. This is a very nice feature to have, and I dream about making it because I know that it will save time for those companies who cooperate and both use Protemos.
Thank you.
Okay. So, any other questions?
I cannot see any further questions in chat. The chat is empty.
Okay, so if you do not get new questions within a minute, I think that's it. But anyway, if the questions comes up after the demo is finished, you can always contact us. Please use the support button on the right upper corner of your Protemos interface. You can always contact support team, and you will get the answer to your question as soon as we can make it. And normally we respond quickly. So you're welcome to use this contact support team in case if you have any thoughts to share, any questions to ask. Okay, thank you everyone for your time. It was great to meet you all. See you later. And this meeting will be recorded, and we will send the recording to each of you.